Now, earlier on, Group 5 said its performance for the first 6 months of 2018 was materially below expectations, with group revenue down about 15% from 5.8 billion rand to 4.9 billion rand. The group says the first half year loss nearly tripled following continued difficulties at its Kpone power project in Ghana. The CEO, Themba Mosai, is in the studio with me, and he is very happy to discuss what's going on. Because Themba, what happened was, when I look at those results, I immediately thought, let me see how the market has reacted. And the market seems to be jumping up and down because your stock is up 15%. Oh. What is the market and shareholders happy about in those results?
I'm hoping they're happy about our strategy, because we articulated a very clear strategy today, which simply says that we will be focusing in areas where we've actually been performing, and we will be reducing our exposure, which is something that we've already done in the construction space, which has obviously been very difficult. So I'm hoping that's what the shareholders and the market is seeing, and they're supportive of that strategy, because that really bodes well for the group going forward.
Absolutely. Before we talk about going forward, I wanted to talk a little bit about those results, just so you can take us into an understanding of just how those results came to be. What were the main challenges when you look at those losses widening?
Yeah. So I think there's one key challenge. There's a few other smaller ones. Yeah. And the big one is definitely the project that we're doing in Kpone.
Right. The Ghana one.
The Ghana project, the Ghana power project. As you know, we're supposed to have finished that project in September of 2017. And I think we came to market and said that we will finish it in December. And then in December, we experienced some difficulties, and we said we'll finish it in March. Yeah. But again, we experienced some difficulties again. And now we're saying that we'll finish it in June. However, this time what is comforting is that construction is complete in that project, Okay. The project from a mechanical perspective is complete also. Right. So there's just some commissioning, which is really a time-based type processes. Okay. You have to do performance testing over a particular time. Okay. So that's what we left with. So we're quite confident that we will be able to finish it.
How big is that project?
So from a cost perspective, it's $410 million.
It's a lot of money.
It's 350 megawatts. It's big.
And are you going to be able to make money out of that project after all this?
No.
Sure.
No. So life to date of that project, we're going to make a loss.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can see why you're quitting construction. In terms of the group going forward then, what does it become? Just give us a sense in terms of focus and where the company is going.
Yeah, so I think the phrase that we've coined, we become an infrastructure business. Right. Because what we do now is we actually develop projects, right from scratch. We invest in projects, and then we deliver the projects, but in a very different manner than the construction. So we don't do construction at all in those projects. Okay. And then we obviously do the operations and maintenance. So the idea is that the operations and maintenance business becomes the bigger part of the group going forward. Okay. Okay. But remember that we do have construction still. Yeah. So we're still in construction, but we're in a different type. Hopefully in a reduced type construction. Sure. In that what we've done is we've closed down all the other businesses, roads, nuclear, you name it. And we've retained building only, we've retained housing, and we've retained a small part of civil engineering, which is focusing on niche civil engineering activities. And then building has been performing very well from a group perspective, which is a business that we are supporting going forward because of its track record, and also because of the existence of market and the internal competency and skills in its the group.
Track record is huge. I don't know how many people know that Group 5 built the JSC building that we've got there, right? Yeah. Pumping up your stock.
Yeah, even around here in Sandton, you just have to be in a skyscraper and look around.
It is Group 5.
It is Group 5.
And that continues. Okay. So in terms of what you have done in changing the focus, if you like, how much risk are you taking by getting out of construction?
We actually reducing risk. Because I mean, the businesses that we've closed were quite risky. It was businesses that we saw a lot of contract losses over the years. And we've decided to close them. So from a risk perspective, I think we're looking better. And I mean, if you look at operations and maintenance, it's low from an investment perspective. It's things that you do, on a daily basis. So it's very high barriers to enter that. Sure. Fortunately, we've been there for years, and we've performed very well for years. Yeah. We've got a brand in Intertoll that is known, and we want to leverage that.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about where you are at in terms of the business. The last time I saw you, You're not as relaxed as you're looking now. You're looking much more
relaxed.
Absolutely much better.
As
Do you have the complete backing of shareholders? Is that business, that fight, that squabbling that went on there done?
So remember that squabbling had little to do with me. It was really between the board then,
historical
and the
issues.
shareholders, and historical issues. So I came in post that fight in reality. And so we've been interacting with our shareholders, and I feel that there is support from our shareholders.
The main shareholders, you mean?
I really feel there is support from them.
Yeah, I remember when that happened, I wrote a story, and this is my intro. Let me just read it to you. I don't know if you read it. I said, Alan Grace must sweep out of Group 5's black-dominated board at a rancorous extraordinary general meeting has left CEO Themba Mosai facing an uncertain future just 2 months after taking over. Is your job secure now?
I believe it is. I believe it is. We've got a strong strategy. There's a market out there, and I think we've got the right team.
Yeah,
I believe it is indeed.
One other thing that I picked out of the results today, the order book is down. That would be a concern in terms of getting future business. Is that a concern for you, and what are you doing about it?
So the order book is down on two fronts. One, because there is no work out there, but also we've decided deliberately not to chase revenue.
Right.
We want to chase profits. We want to make money for our shareholders.
Just explain that for some people so they understand why you're not chasing revenue, because that seems to be, a little surprising, because you'd imagine you want to chase revenue because you need revenue to get profit, right?
No, construction generally, is a place where people tend to chase revenue, and oftentimes that revenue comes with a lot of risk, and sometimes comes with actually big losses, because it's a cutthroat environment, and so there is no margin out there. So what we've decided to do is that if there is no margin, if there is no competitive advantage that we bring, we're not interested. We'll do those projects where we know, one, we've got the skills, and two, we're going to make money in. So our risk processes are very stringent. We look at returns, and we look at profitability of projects, and we look at cash also.
Absolutely. Themba, thanks very much indeed.